Colin, it's Chris here. I got your email this morning and some great questions regarding the listing agreement, and I'm going to write a brief cliff noted version of this in the email that you sent. But to go in a little bit more in depth, because some of the questions need more than just a little one sentence answer, so I'm going to dive right in. I'm just getting over a cold, and we're just starting the new season, so I got my allergies all acting up. All right, so line 15. The number 16 does not appear to be at the end of the address in our settlement documentation. I can only assume it was left out by mistake. Yes, that's not a big deal. There's three ways to identify ownership in America. One is obviously the address of the property. Two is the legal description, which is on the listing agreement, which you see Point Siena, Neighborhood 1, Village 3, etc., etc. And then finally, the tax identification number, the parcel ID, if you will. So all of those three things match your name and ownership, so it's not a big deal. It's just a clerical error on the HUD or the closing documents that you received previously, so no big deal. Line 17, personal property, including appliances. Check with Wendy. I'm not sure if the things like the stove and the oven, etc., fall into this category. So, yes, they do. Personal property includes basically two different things. One, let's say if the house has a hot tub, or if the house has a, I don't know, attached bar or something like that inside the living room, that would be considered personal property that they could take with the home. But hard fixed items such as the air conditioner, the water heater, the refrigerator, the stove, the dishwasher, all of those things are considered basically part of the property. So those are considered, moving with the transaction. Sometimes people, if you have a super expensive appliance set, like if you buy like a $2,000 refrigerator and, $20,000 stove, something like that, then yeah, people might take them with the property, but at the end of the day, we're not talking about anything of that nature with this home. So everything will stay with the property. Occupancy is the next question. Lease term expires May 31st. Does this need to be extended? No, we can leave it as it is for right now. It's not a big deal because that is what's on paper. Any amendments are very easy to change. It's not really applicable at this time. We know that the tenants are in until at least then. Should they change, it's not a big deal. This is just so, it's more for my end to know whether or not how I can show the property. Do I contact the tenants? Do I contact the owners? Is the property vacant? So that's more for just kind of internal usage, not necessarily something too definitive and important. Next question, line 57, use the seller's name in connection with advertising or marketing of the property. Why would you need to do that? So you can kind of answer this two ways. Let's just say, for instance, here's an example. Tiger Woods used to live in Windermere, about 10-15 minutes from our office, about 30-40 minutes from your property on Bark Court. So the real estate agent could say, oh, this is X or golf's PGA, Tiger Woods, world-renowned athlete sort of thing, like you can own his home. Sometimes people use things like that for marketing tools, like if you're in DuPont magazine, super luxurious homes that might have a superstar athlete, actress, musician or something like that, use it as leverage to market it. Like, oh, you can own Brad Pitt's former, beach house in Malibu, sort of thing like that. Another thing is also all transactions in America for real estate are public information, and so you can just go online, put in an address, and it'll tell you who owns the property, unless you go jump through hoops and you deal with a lot of lawyers and solicitors to say, I want my name to remain private. But also in your circumstance, like you buy it through an LLC. So using Tiger Woods for an example again, there's no way Tiger Woods bought a property with his name on it. It's probably, whatever, Golf Pro LLC, just for an example. That, most renowned and very famous people, they don't put property in their name. They use an LLC or some subsidiary of the company they own. Next question is 9 and 90. To my knowledge, there are no such material facts. That is basically seller certifies and represents that the seller knows of such material facts, such as code violations, this and that. There shouldn't be, and there probably is not. Things like that, well, let's say if they replace the roof. When you replace a roof on a property, you have to do what's called, you have to pull a permit and you let the county know. Then the county sends somebody out there to inspect the property and the roof to make sure that it adheres to the standards of the code today. So nothing like that has been done on the property as far as I'm aware or you're aware, and I'll just confirm with Wendy. But yeah, no, that's just basically saying that there's not a tree falling through the roof right now in the living room, and that the whole house is about to collapse tomorrow. That's essentially what it is. Next question here is conditional termination. Line 140. Would you mind explaining this and what fees, if any, would apply? That's basically to say, hey, look, we're parting our own ways. Yeah, the agreement's for 6 months. I believe that's what it was. Yeah, the agreement's for 6 months, but things changed. I decided to keep the property, or I decided to just give the property to my wife, my son, my cousin, whatever. Things like that, they happen. Conditions change on why you're going to sell, when you're going to sell, or if you need to sell. So, we've seen it happen before, and typically, no, there are no expenses to be covered there. But I don't have any fear or concern that that's going to be an issue, because I think we'll be able to sell it much prior to you needing to sign that. Line 184, switch numbers as well. Okay, no problem. Other question is, you have proposed using existing images in Video Tour. I'm okay with that. Are you allowed to use non-current images and videos though? Yes, you are. You can use images when the house was first built. Use the images of it, the way it looks today. Basically, all that you would do is on the realtor description, you say, photos present were taken March 2012 or whatever. You just let them know. So yeah, these weren't taken yesterday. They were taken right before the tenants moved in after the renovation. Next question. You need to visit the property to confirm condition. Of course, if the tenant has the property well presented, then their own furniture and personal effects, it might be worth taking advantage of the image and video tours, this and that. Yes and no. To be honest with you, 99.9% of the time, tenants are not going to have, the type of furniture that makes it look like a model home. It makes it look more attractive. They're typically going to, have furniture that's to their likings and that suits their needs, but it's not exactly going to be the type of furniture that you see in a Bloomingdale's or Macy's catalog. So typically it's better to show an empty house, just because it will give people more an example of uses of space. And, if they have a green couch with tan walls that doesn't blend at all, it's very difficult to make that type of living room look better than an empty one will, with nice and clean floors and walls and stuff like that. Yeah, so that answers all your questions. So I think I hit everything properly there. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Again, I'll kind of put this in a cliff noted version in the email as well too. So please let me know if you have any other questions, and I will try to get over my cold for the weekend and give you a little bit more of an accurate description. So, all right, guys, have a great weekend. I appreciate the good questions, and I'll talk to you soon.